So you're shopping for a mid-size sedan. You've got some money, and so you want to take it to the executive level. But you also want some sport. What you don't want is the same car that everyone else at work has. So you're turning to the purveyor of absolutely gorgeous alternative automobiles from Genesis. That's right, you're looking here at the updated 2025 G80 sports sedan. Taken all the way here to the highest trim level. This is called the 3.5T all-wheel drive Prestige. Updated front and rear fascias for 2025, and a beautiful new color, which looks white, but it's called Vatna Gray, inspired by the volcanic landscape of Iceland. Just a gorgeous automobile. Everyone sees it, they want to know what it is. If you don't follow the automobile industry as closely as you and I do, they might think it's a Bentley. I've heard that this week. So it's got this aura and allure of mysteriousness. I love it. Updated headlamps this year too, which are supposed to improve both low beam and high beam performance. And when you take this car all the way to the Prestige level, you get these 20-inch sport alloy wheels from the GV70 SUV. You get rear wheel steering for improved maneuverability and handling. You get an electronic limited slip differential here on the rear axle. That's going to improve performance as well. And this one has an electronically controlled suspension. So it uses this camera here, something Mercedes pioneered years ago, to read the road out ahead so it can control the suspension before you get to the potholes. So it's got a beautiful ride quality to it. And also with the Prestige trim, you get an additional drive mode. The drive mode here is called Sport Plus. It disables traction control and adds yet a higher level of performance. This thing is quick. We're talking 375 horsepower, 391 pound-feet of torque on premium gas, please, 19 mpg in combined driving. And speaking of beautiful, how about the Sevilla red and obsidian black interior on this one, huh? Oh man, it just oozes with personality and luxury. And it feels it too. You get the Napa leather seating in here, the micro suede headliner and pillars, an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. You get massaging seats and of course all of the typical things you would expect in a car of this price range, like the rear sunshade on the back window, power operated manually on the rear windows, carbon fiber trim, and this big 27-inch infotainment screen that runs all the way from the driver over to the passenger side. Now, the infotainment system here is definitely getting just a little bit dusty. It's not as cutting edge. It looks great, but when you really get in there, you can see that it's time for Genesis to take this up another notch. So shall we start it up? This is another thing I love about this car too. Watch this. So up here, you can see the landscape that it portrays. And this actually syncs with the real weather. So if it were raining, you would see raindrops up here. If it's sunny, you see sun up there. If it's cloudy like it is right now, by and large, you get clouds up there. So just a very, very cool little touch. Now you can control this screen with touch, and it's obviously within close reach of the driver, as you can see from my hand here, but you can also control it with this rotary knob down here. So it does give you options. And again, it looks great, and it's not bad, don't get me wrong, but when you really get in here and compare it to some of the newer systems with Google built in and so forth, you can see that it's perhaps not quite up to modern times. You can see, like, even with the radio display readouts here, everything kind of gets scrunched to a smaller part of the screen, and so not as good as it could be. So Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia all have this highway driving assistant, which is the best version of adaptive cruise control you can get that isn't technically, you know, like a level 2 hands-off system like Super Cruise or something like that. However, when I wear my sunglasses in this car, the system will not work. I get this error message up here on the screen telling me that it can't read my entire face, which is confusing to me. And again, it's the only car I have ever had, and I'm not wearing some ridiculous, you know, huge sunglasses that block my entire face, but in any condition, it will not read it. So, an unfortunate but little tidbit of information for you there. This one too has a real sunroof, a glass roof that is tinted with a sunshade, but also does open. And it has an 8-speed automatic transmission with this beautiful little dial shifter down here. This is where you can get to the drive modes. There's that additional Sport Plus drive mode. I just felt my seat tighten up right there, and it disables traction control. So more onus on you to actually do the driving. This is one of the few cars as well that actually has a wireless charge pad that actually works with the bulging lens on my iPhone. So that I very much appreciate. The other weird little thing about this car, and not that it's a big deal by any means, but I've noticed the climate control settings here in auto mode don't seem to be as true. I have to almost crank this thing to 80 degrees to make it feel like it's 72 in here. But again, certainly not a big deal. This one has soft closed doors, memory settings. Of course, you're gonna get it all at the prestige level, right? And in the back seat here, again, it's a mid-size sedan. Plenty of room here. Absolutely comfortable seats. It's got this big pull-down center armrest here, and you also get the power sunshade controls and 3 levels of heating in addition to the sunshades on the windows, and of course your own automatic climate controls. The driver can also control this passenger seat with these 2 buttons right here, and there are additional buttons up there on the big screen. This one has launch control too. It does feel quite quick when you get it into those heightened sport modes. It handles beautifully. The ride quality is exceptional. Really, from a driving standpoint, there is nothing I would change about the way this car goes about its business. It's really a delight, and again, a nice alternative to the stalwarts out there. And that's exactly what Genesis does. They're winning over customers who want something a little different with their own flavor. This one too has that remote parking assistant built into the key fob. Though I really am beginning not to like the new Hyundai Genesis key fobs. They've put all the buttons on the side. They're small and confusing and hard to manage. That is true. But anyhow, if you are in the market for a car such as this, in that $70,000 to $80,000 price range, and you want something that's a little bit different than everyone else is doing, I would highly recommend you take a look at the updated 2025 Genesis G80. For Test Drive Now, I'm Steve Hammes.